Now, the most reasonable talk show host from Sop-Choppy to the Redneck Riviera, here is Bob Kerrigan.
Good evening. Welcome to Within Reason. Just a few preliminary opening comments, and they are these, that this is a historic time, obviously, and to think that any person in this country, if they work hard and apply themselves, can become President of the United States, whatever their color or sex now. We are certain that that avenue is open, and it will provide great inspiration to virtually everybody. I predict a major rise in or increase in the interest of education, particularly from minorities, that we will see increased applications to universities and to institutions of higher learning from all people. We'll see doors opening that before were gently shut, and we'll see a level and a kind of equality that really we want in this country, expect in the country, but in many cases hasn't been real in this country. The Republican Party right now is in serious disarray. This is best illustrated by a very anecdotal event on our local television station tonight. And they interviewed two people about the Republican loss. One was an older gentleman, I thought very dignified in the way he addressed the question, and said simply that the Republican Party had shifted too far to the right. I have said this many times, that the Republican Party has been commandeered by the radical, extremist, religious wackos who claim to be speaking for all of the religious people in the country, only for the perversion of their own interest, financial and otherwise. And other special interest groups have commandeered the Republican Party. That is the Republican Party. The idea of the Republican Party is a conservative party by following conservative principles, principally fiscally conservative principles, turned out to be just a complete disaster. I mean, that's not even close to true. So what are they? Well, this gentleman said that the party had shifted too far to the right. And then they interviewed a young person, some young business person for Young Republicans or something. And here's what he said, which I think illustrates the problem the Republican Party has. He said the party had shifted too far to the left and has to return to its basic principles, implying thereby the fictitious family values principle, the illusion of fiscal conservative conduct and fiscal management. What are they going to become? Because right now, the National Republican Party platform is in complete disarray. If I ask the average person on the street, well, what does the Republican Party stand for? What do they really stand for? I mean, you get the single issue voters. You would get the person who says, well, they're pro-life. Okay, we know that. They're pro-gun. Yeah, we know that. That's it. We wouldn't get people to say it's fiscally responsible, therefore smaller government, therefore more accountability, therefore more personal freedoms. All of those things are gone. Those are off of the menu in the Republican Party now, the National Republican Party. They're off the menu. They're not possible anymore for the Republicans to argue that. And until they get back to something very basic, which is smaller government, not the George Bush massive increase in government, until they get back to smaller government, and until the Republicans stand up and fight and argue against this terrible invasion of our personal liberty and invasion of our private lives and the use of the United States military to spy on the citizens of this country and the other things that have happened under the Bush administration, until the Republican Party says, no, we are opposed to big government. We are opposed to massive deficit spending, and we are opposed to this unlimited expansion of military spending. Until the Republican Party tightens up and becomes a true fiscally conservative political party, I don't think they have a chance. Sarah Palin, I think, was the single biggest mistake of the McCain campaign. Could have been easily rectified. She could have dropped out, as Kathleen Parker, the Republican columnist, said that. She recommended that Sarah Palin drop out and that they name a competent person to run with McCain. I think had that been done, McCain could well have won. At many stages of the campaign, people up smarter than I'll ever be about this, and it's been written about, will be written about in all of the major publications. Different in Washington Post today. There's several writers who are talking about their view of where it went bad. My view where it went bad, for whatever it's worth, is they picked Sarah Palin, which was a terrible mistake, and they didn't let John McCain be John McCain. They tried to fashion this new image, and it changed over and over and over, as I said earlier, so no one really knew, well, who's actually running? We can't find anybody that's actually running here that we can identify or that we know who they are. Well, in the end, John McCain lost, and Sarah Palin lost, and it was sad to me listening to John McCain's speech, because I think if he could have said what he really thought, if he could have said what he really thought, I think he would have said, I made some terrible mistakes here. I went back and tried to make a deal with these crazy evangelicals. That was a mistake. I made a mistake listening to them about Sarah Palin. I made a mistake allowing all of these negative ads to be run. I made a mistake not cutting off this whole question of Obama's birth certificate. I made a mistake allowing Sarah Palin to wail off about him being palling around with terrorists, an endless number of other things that I don't think John McCain would have done on his own, because he didn't have a history of acting like that or conducting himself like that. This story from the Washington Post: through tears and whoops of joy and celebration that spilled onto streets on distant continents, people around the globe called Barack Obama's election a victory for the world and a renewal of America's ability to inspire. If nothing else, if this election gives hope to people here and every place else, what a marvelous accomplishment before he ever does one thing. Hope to people that in the United States, regardless of who you are or where you came from or your humble origin, you can rise to become President of the United States or do anything else in life that you want. What a powerful message for the world that we live that. We just don't bring in helicopters and machine guns and shoot up everybody and tell them we're going to give them democracy. That's not the only thing we do. And there are cases in which force is required, in which our military should respond. But that's not all we are. But that has been the message under Bush. We're something else. We don't talk democracy, which the Bush administration, they love to talk freedom for their own manipulative reasons. This is living the American dream. This is the reality that the American dream can come true. And I think it is a powerful, powerful message for good. It won't restore us overnight. I mean, what Bush and Cheney and Rove have done, and I think Paul Krugman was right when he called them the monsters, not Bush, but the others that have been around him, the monsters that have created this terrible image of the United States and what they've done, and the criminal conduct that has been engaged in, that they're gone. But this one vote, this one election, shot us like a rocket back onto the world stage in a way that I think is going to be great for the United States in many, many ways, and does take away the extremist argument that this is a white man's domination and a religiously motivated country to oppress other religions and other colors of people around the world. So be with you next week at this same time. This program is rebroadcast on Monday night and Friday night at 10. And thank you very much for watching and for your calls and emails. And we'll see you next week at this time.